President Trump pausing some tariffs on Mexico until April 2nd, when reciprocal tariffs kick in for everyone. All Mexican goods under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement, signed under the first Trump administration to replace NAFTA, granted reprieve. President Trump posting to Truth Social, quote, "I did this as an accommodation and out of respect for President Sheinbaum. Our relationship has been a very good one, and we are working hard together on the border, both in terms of stopping illegal aliens from entering the United States and likewise stopping fentanyl." The markets continuing to slide in reaction to the back and forth actions. President Trump reacting to the market drop from the Oval.
Well, a lot of them are globalist countries and companies that won't be doing as well because we're taking back things that have been taken from us many years ago. We've been treated very unfairly as a country. We protect everybody. We do everything for all these countries. And a lot of these are globalist in nature. You know, they have, if you're outside of the United States, it's going to be a little bit different. We just weren't treated right. We were ripped off as a country. I've been saying it for a long time.
Democrats highly critical of the tariffs, arguing the economic uncertainty is harming their constituents.
His tariffs on allies like Canada will raise prices on energy, lumber, and cars.
Average American families can expect that these Trump tariffs are going to cost them about $2,000 annually. So considering the president ran on a platform of bringing down costs, he seems to be doing exactly the opposite.
Trump started this. This is not only going to put, pain and suffering for Canadian families. It's also going to be for Minnesota families and families all across the United States.
Public support for tariffs falling along party lines. An Economist YouGov poll showing 68% of Republicans support a 25% tariff on Mexico versus only 11% of Democrats. On CNBC, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick pressed about the seemingly chaotic thinking of the White House. First, the tariffs were announced, then paused, then implemented, now paused again in some capacity.
Are you unsure of what President Trump wants?
I speak to him all the time. You've got to be kidding me. The president knows exactly what he wants. We know exactly what he wants, and our job is to try to execute exactly what he wants.
You communicated fully with your counterparts in Mexico and Canada, for example, exactly what the president wants, I assume.
Like yesterday and the day before yesterday, of course. Like, come on.
Mr. Lutnick telling NBC this month it's all about fentanyl. But beginning April 2nd, attention turns to busting down trade barriers throughout the world, especially with China. At the Economic Club of New York, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent laying out the fuller strategy with President Trump's upcoming tariff wars.
I know it's what President Trump believes. He believes three things. One, it is a good source of revenues. Two, it protects our important industries and the employees. And three, he's added the third leg to the stool, and he uses it for negotiating.
The popular argument against the Trump tariffs, even from right-wing economists, is their attacks on American consumers and increased costs on American businesses. Economist Vance Ginn, who worked in the OMB in the first Trump administration, writing in the Courier-Journal, quote, "A trade deficit is not a sign of economic weakness. It reflects strong capital inflows and consumer purchasing power. Trying to fix it with tariffs only distorts markets and raises costs." President Trump argues that global free trade doesn't really exist because countries like China with authoritarian governments don't play fair. More from Secretary Bessent.
We can accumulate all of the strategic mineral deposits that we need, but China still processes 85% of the processing. Right. And every time a private sector company tries to stand up a processing facility outside of China, China drops their prices and puts them out of business.
Right.
There are several in the United States that are just sitting idle because the Chinese saw what was happening and dropped it, and that's unacceptable.
The U.S. is the largest importer in the world, purchasing $4.1 trillion worth of goods and services last year from everywhere else. Mr. Trump believes the U.S. can leverage that massive purchasing power to force other countries to bend to his will. Americans have a lot of money to spend. If you want access to this market, you either deal with a tariff or build your factory here. Secretary Lutnick spells it out on CNBC.
If you want to buy things from other countries and you want to bring it into America, then the price is going to rise. But if you make it here, then of course the price won't rise. So make it here. Should Apple, who builds it all in China, why are they building it all in China and giving us our iPhone? Why don't they make it here?
Wages are lower over there.
And now there are robots who can do it. You're going to see robotic production of iPhones and the jobs that are going to be created. These are great, high-paying jobs, and you don't need a college education to do it. This is the recreation of tradecraft in the United States of America, and Donald Trump is on it. He's bringing it back.
Publicly, the Chinese are responding to tariff threats with bravado. A Chinese foreign ministry spokesman saying late Tuesday, if war is what the U.S. wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight to the end. The Wall Street Journal reporting behind the scenes, China's worried they can't win a trade war. The Journal writing, quote, the vision haunting Xi is one where China finds itself cut off by trade restrictions and sanctions, suffering Soviet-style isolation with fewer outlets for its goods and limited access to crucial technologies. China's economy depends on U.S. demand. Last year, the U.S. imported $439 billion worth of goods from China, one of their top sources of revenue. Losing that access would not just hurt, it could destabilize China's economic foundation, and that's what President Trump is gambling on.